All right, we're gonna try a quick 0 to 60. I'm terrible at these 0 to 60, so we'll give it a shot. Buenos dias, que paso amigos, John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about what I think may be Triumph's secret Harley Davidson killer. And no, I'm not talking about the Triumph Rocket 3. Everybody knows about the Rocket 3. It's a 2.3 liter beast. That's not even in the same category. No, I'm not talking about the Speed Triple Inline 3. That is a sport bike, also not in the same category. I'm not talking about the Bonneville, as cool as it is, and maybe a Sportster killer, not a Harley killer in general. The bike I'm talking about today is, bam, this here Triumph Thunderbird. That's right, folks. This is a 2010 Triumph Thunderbird, 104 cubic inch. That's 1700 cc's of pure brute force and power. I like to think I'm like a dude who knows about motorcycles, and somehow this just slipped under the radar for the last, I don't know how many years. It was only by random chance that this happened to come into my hands, that I happened to go out and buy this bike. And I just got back from doing a little cruise around town, and I'm like blown away. I'm truly blown away. So I'm going to jump on the bike and we'll talk about why I think this is Triumph's secret Harley killer. The one that nobody knows about, that is just absolutely tearing it up and definitely gives any Harley a run for its money. So this bike's a 2010. It's got about 84 horsepower, 107 foot-pounds of torque. It may not sound like anything like over-the-top impressive, but compared to the Harleys of that day, aside from like a CVO, it's a lot of performance. This is a parallel twin liquid cooled, so yeah, it's not the same as an air-cooled V-twin. But Triumph, they basically offer something that's unique, original, different, and still has the performance to it, but also the characteristics of a cruiser, which is what you want. I'm rolling out to my drag strip here, and we're gonna see if we can get a little 0 to 60 action. Jeez, just listen to that. That is beautiful. All right, there we have it. All right, this is a 2010 Triumph Thunderbird. It's the first year Triumph came out with the Thunderbird. They had it in a 1600 cc, or you could get a big bore kit from the factory, which was a 1700 cc. I've got the 1700 cc, a 104 cubic inch. You got dual exhaust. This is a parallel twin, which I don't know if this is still the case, but at the time it was the largest displacement production parallel twin on the market. Just look at that. Look at the girth of that parallel twin. You're used to seeing, you know, the big V-twin. Of course, you've got your big boxer engines from like BMW, for example, but really unique in that regard. It was also Triumph's first belt-driven motorcycle, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise they were chain or shaft drive. Now, the unique thing about this bike, as you can see, it's kind of a mix between like a muscle bike. You've got that cut-off rear fender, but then you've also got the option to set it up for the highway with the highway lights. You've got the option for quick detach windshield. I don't have them installed, but also has highway crash bars and pegs. ABS comes standard. You got your dual discs in the front, single disc in the rear, of course. When I bought this bike, I bought it to kick off my YouTube Moto Flip project. That's basically trading our way up to our dream motorcycle. And it was pretty much a fluke. I mean, I had never really actively been out looking for this motorcycle. But I have to say, after buying it and riding it, this is my first kind of test ride, I'm blown away. It's a ton of fun. It handles well. The suspension is good. I mean, just, it's really offering everything, and it's like it's a muscle performance cruiser by all standards, 100%. I would put this right up there with your Yamaha Roadstar Warrior, M109R Boulevard, VTX 1800, with all those other muscle cruisers. And before, I had never even considered it. This bike kind of bridges the gap between your Triumph Rocket 3 and your Bonneville, you know, 865 900cc parallel twin. It gives people that new option. On paper, about 84, 85, 87 horsepower, maybe 107 foot-pounds of torque. A 2010 Triumph Thunderbird versus your 2010, you know, 96 or 88, I think it was a 96 cubic inch Harley, you're getting a lot more performance out of this as well. Comfort, it's really comfortable. I said in my first video, it's like they found a way of combining precision and refinement that you get with something like a Honda Goldwing with your Harley Road King that also has a little bit of a rumble and a grunt and a characteristic kind of that visceral feel to it as well, where you don't feel like you're on a spaceship or a sewing machine. They kind of found a way of combining the two. Handling is on point. It's a big bike, it's heavy, it's 700 plus pounds, so it's not going to be super nimble, but it handles well, it gets into the corners. The stock suspension feels pretty dang good. I didn't feel like I was bouncing around all wild like it was going to throw me off the motorcycle or anything like that. So I really do feel like Triumph on this bike offers a lot of the things that are top complaints with your Harleys. People always complain about the suspension on your Harleys. They're going to complain about the bike just rattles and it's super, you know, super rumbly, at least on your older Harleys. I know these new M8s, that's a lot different. It's still got a good sound to it. These are liquid cooled, not air cooled. So there's a lot of things, again, where if somebody wants a classic, but they just don't want the Harley, this Triumph offers it. And then additionally, you've got the heritage that comes with the Triumph, which is also what you get with your Harley Davidson that a lot of people are looking for and they just don't find with their metric cruisers. And so now enter the Triumph. This is a great option. I, again, had never even considered this. I don't know if this is like the best kept secret or what, or if tons of people are talking about it and I just have been deaf to all those suggestions. But I have to say, pretty rad motorcycle. So there's my little walk around. My two complaints on this motorcycle: one, where the kickstand typically is on a bike like this, you're going to be hitting your exhaust. So if you just get back from a ride and the exhaust is hot, you're going to, you know, possibly melt your boot. And then two, where you typically have a start button, they have this little eye for information, so you can switch from like the trip and speedometer. Those are my two biggest complaints. All right, we're gonna try a quick 0 to 60. I'm terrible at these 0 to 60, so we'll give it a shot. Woo! I think I hit about 110. I think I hit about 110. I mean, she had more to give for sure. I was just running out of space. I felt like I was. Oh, these things are crazy. It's smooth, man. It's a fast bike. Fast bike. Whoo! Gets my heart racing, dude. All right, let me know what you guys think. Like, where have I been all this time that I had like no idea that this bike was out here, or at least that it was out here and what it was capable of. Are you familiar with the Triumph Thunderbird? What are things you like about it or dislike about it? Let me know below in the comments. Also, this is the bike that is kicking off my YouTube Moto Flip project. It's basically where I take a bike with a budget of $2,000 to $3,000, buy a motorcycle, flip it, trade my way up to my dream bike. We're gonna see how long it takes to get that dream bike. I don't know what that dream bike is yet, but we'll find something. And really, it'll just be a way of demonstrating how you can start with a small budget and ultimately work your way up to a cool motorcycle. So this bike is kicking that off. Check out that series if you haven't already. You can hit me on Instagram at John's Motor Garage, and we'll catch you on the next one. Adios, hasta luego, nos vemos.